Hello and welcome to Kritzkast, the Team Fortress 2 podcast. My name is Aggro. I have with me two glasses, one of which is red, the other is mostly clear. One of these is poisonous, the other one is a cure. I don't know which is which. Anyway, together with me and my fatality and predicament, there is also someone here who is genuinely wonderful. I've only known them for days, and in fact spoken to them for minutes, but already I can tell they're wonderful. And you might know them as being wonderful too. I am, of course, speaking of GermanPeter. GermanPeter, welcome to the show.
Okay, hello there.
You have created an alternative. I was to say it's basically it's a new game.
Yeah.
But it's based on a game that currently exists.
Yes.
So it's an Undertale remake.
I didn't really remake anything. I made sort of my own version. It's more of a parody, if anything. I mean, it doesn't take itself seriously. So I would call it a parody first and then maybe remake second.
All right, you've got to take me through this thing because starting right off on this, I have never played Undertale. So did you choose to make your game because you were in love with Undertale? Or because you knew it would have a big reception?
Okay, to explain that I have to start like at the beginning. So last year, I think I was gifted Undertale on Steam, and I decided that I was gonna do like a Let's Play series of it. I thought that to advertise that Let's Play series that no one is ever gonna see, by the way, because it's seriously cringy and you don't want to see that, I decided like, oh, why not make a TF2X Undertale video? Just a little parody video, just like, okay, hey, these are the TF2 characters in Undertale, or the other way around. While thinking about that idea, I came to the conclusion that I would have to like actually walk around in the video, like interact with stuff, like it's an actual video game. I decided to just make a little engine in Game Maker that I could just record, just a little walk engine, just I can go over here and talk to this person and just basically script everything, but like have more control over it than if I were to just make it in Movie Studio. Yeah, so I made that little engine just like walking around and stuff, and while implementing the text boxes, because Undertale has text boxes, lots of conversations, I realized that that wasn't actually such a bad thing that I was working, because it was actually really competent, like it wasn't a buggy engine, it actually worked very well. And then all of a sudden, I realized that I was gonna have to make a full game, because it was just way too much fun working on the engine, and I saw all the possibilities that I could do, because it wasn't very hard to program all the stuff in it. And I thought like, yeah, no, you know what, Peter, you actually have to make a full game out of this.
At some point, you're gonna have to start like figuring out how long it's gonna take you to make this sort of thing. So, did you know it's gonna take you like a year to do this?
Oh my goodness, no, it really didn't. I at the beginning, it was just supposed to be a small like meme game, just like 30 minutes or something to finish, maybe not even that long, just like, oh, you're in that room where you talk to that guy, next room, that room, next guy and stuff. And originally I just wanted the characters of Undertale to fill in the role of the TF2 mercenaries. So, for example, one of the characters, Toriel, she would have been medic, and Papyrus, he's a skeleton, he would have been a soldier, and they would have still stayed the same, like they would have had the same personalities that they'd had in Undertale, but just filled the roles of the TF2 mercenaries. But then, while I was working on the sprites, I decided to make it like into an actual thing, like with an actual story, so like you could enjoy the game and play it even if you have absolutely no idea what Undertale or even Team Fortress 2 is, just like with a coherent plot and coherent gameplay, just like a standalone game. Yeah, and that was actually while I was working on the sprites for the engineer, or rather there was still Sans at that point, I decided to turn him like into a human, so he would look more like the engineer, and it actually looked good. So I did the same for Toriel and Papyrus, and basically that's how the game even came to be. I had to do everything from scratch, which wasn't too difficult. Like I said, I had a bit of experience. I knew how to make like a movement engine, just like make the character move around and bump into walls. But the only things I really had to learn how to do was the text box engine and one or two more things. Yeah, Undertale isn't really all that complex. It wasn't all that hard to copy, let's say it like that. Every time I encountered something in the game, even while playing, I knew like, oh, that's how Toby did it, because I'm familiar with certain things.
You're familiar with like how he he did it presumably because he's been on a lot of the social sites, or do you have like personal connection with him? Have you sort of reached out to the Undertale creator?
No, I'm familiar with GameMaker. Like I'm an amateur at it, and so is he. While playing Undertale, I could see like the typical, I don't want to say mistakes, but like the typical things that GameMaker programmers do. Like for example, the screen size being just 640 by 480, and the
sort of 4x3, yeah.
Yeah, the frame rate just being 30 FPS and stuff. You can change all of that, but most people never do that. And I also never did that. So we were kind of like very similar to each other. So I kind of saw some of myself in him in a way. And I just could recognize all the decisions that I would have made and ended up actually doing in the end. I mean, I just basically copied everything he did. Whatever he did, whether I liked that decision or not, I did the same, basically.
So you started, but you weren't keen to ever stop?
Yeah, this is like the best thing I've ever done, to be honest, like hands down. And I knew I couldn't stop it. Like, there were times while I was working on the game, especially near the end, where I thought like, I'm never gonna finish this. Like, every time I thought like, oh, I'm gonna be done next month, it got delayed by another 2 months. And I just thought like, oh, I'm never gonna finish it. And well, here I am. I finished it. Many people pointed out that they were happy that it's not just a meme game, you know, so it's like an actual thing. Like it's not just Undertale but with TF2 or something. So no, it's like an actual game with an actual story and actual characters and actually new stuff. So if you play Undertale, you can still play this game again and completely enjoy it from the ground up. And I'm glad to have succeeded in that regard.
Are there cool like little Easter eggs in there?
Oh my goodness, there's way too many Easter eggs in the game. There are way too many.
Really?
There is so many, I cannot, like, if you look on the screen right now, in the background you can see an enemy, that's Weird Wizard. That's obviously Muselk. You can see his hat, and that's his logo on the glove. That's like WW, or if you reverse it, it would be MM, like Muselk. There's a reference to Array 7. He's also an enemy. There's Germa and Star, Jim Sterling and Donkey. A friend of mine who gifted me Undertale is also in the game. He's standing next to a cake bomb. There's way too many. A friend of mine, Habana, is also in the game. She's like a little green sort of rabbit. But mostly I've referenced other games in overtime. Specifically like Doom. There's a Doom guy and an enemy called Cackle Demon, which is based on the Keiko Demon from Doom. The Stanley Parable, which was referenced a lot because it's also a very meta game and I thought it fit, with a yellow line and another enemy named Confused Stan, reference to Stanley. Portal was referenced with turrets and the cake that I mentioned. Half-Life, another enemy whose name is Physical Physician and he's basically Gordon Freeman in his suit. Even Wolfenstein 3D, which not anyone has picked up on, but one area in the game is actually a recreation of Hitler's level from Wolfenstein 3D, and that actually really fits given the context of the level. And I'm not gonna say which level it is, because it might spoil certain things, but I'm sure that whoever got to that level will know what I'm talking about. But yeah, like, was something. Aside from referenced games, there's also like name references. For example, if you input a certain name, you get a message at the beginning. For example, if you type in Gaben, the game will talk about how it's been in development for so long and hopefully it's been worth the wait and stuff. There's not just names that give text messages. Some of the names actually change your appearance in the game. For example, if you name yourself Maxbox, you actually get little 3D glasses on because of his avatar. And if you name yourself Robot or Robot, or robots, you turn into a robot, and that's a reference to Robotsan, who made the thumbnail of the trailer. And there's actually many more like that for certain other people that I'm not gonna mention. Actually, one of them I can mention if you name yourself Isaac. And there's also one name that you can pick that drastically changes the gameplay, but I'm not gonna say which name that is. But if you name yourself that, you're gonna have a lot of fun. I'm gonna say it like that. Or not, but it's gonna make a huge difference. So yeah, have fun finding that out.
You talked about a special edition.
Yes.
Is there? I mean, you're on version 1.03. Is there going to be 1.04? Are you just talking about little tweaks, or are you going full on out? Is there going to be a massive update?
I have planned to release a special edition of the game. As I've said before, it would have a unique soundtrack. That would be one of the main focuses of the thing, and also some other features that I can't guarantee. see that are gonna be in there, but there are some ideas that might sneak into the special edition. Like for example, I originally planned to have hats in the game, like a reference to TF2, either just cosmetic or also with stats. Like for example, if you wear this hat, you regenerate HP or something. Also like more levels and rooms, so you can like try more stuff out. More enemies definitely, because a lot of people have said that just running into the same 2 enemies over and over again in each area is a bit boring, so I would like add at least 1 enemy per area. More mini games maybe, like little side things that you could do, just these tiny things.
There was stuff that didn't make it into the game then?
Oh yeah, that's lots of stuff that didn't make it into the game. Just tiny things.
It's kind of mad. I mean, just genuinely, like, I know I'm going to let you talk about it, but like, I'm still, like, genuinely, like, it's 1 year. It doesn't seem like long enough to make it this game. Or any game for that matter. Like, just trying to organise myself to do anything, like getting out of bed seems to take more than a year each day. So yeah, the fact that you've done this is insane. And like having additional stuff that you wanted to do but didn't. Like what?
Yeah, it was what? What is that? Also about the I can't believe you did this in a year. It actually took way longer than I expected, and part of that is because I was lazy. But to be honest, I really don't have a life. I came home from university and just worked on the game and did that for like 2 hours. And on some days I didn't have university, so I just worked on the game for almost the entire day and stuff. And I actually had to force myself sometimes, like, okay, you're gonna get up at 9, you're gonna go on the internet until 10, and then you're gonna work on the game until 13 a.m. or something, or PM, whatever it is. So I had to actually force myself, especially near the end. I was actually really stressed out because I worked on the game the entire day. It was lots of stress, but I wanted to get it done. Like, I was sick and tired of it, and I still am, to be honest. There were a couple of things that were supposed to be in the game. Basically, when you quit the game, there's a text in the upper left corner that says, like, basically just quitting the game or something. I wanted to have that, like, be randomized, like disappointing your family or something. It's sort of a reference to what Doom did. There was also be a skeleton in the medic's office that quote-unquote fell off a truck, and there was either going to be Papyrus from Undertale or the skeleton from the unusual effect Death by Disco, which was based on Undertale. But I decided against that because it just didn't fit. The guard dog was supposed to make an appearance. The engineer was actually supposed to have built it, and then after you fought it, you were supposed to meet the engineer and he would have said, well, that's odd. I didn't release the guard dog. Someone else must have, like a reference to the guard dog update not being released.
Yeah.
Again, the heads I mentioned, like certain items, like for example, an item like an Übercharge would make you invulnerable for 3 seconds. Some protective orbs that would float around you so they would destroy attacks and you wouldn't have to dodge as much. You were actually supposed to call people using the cell phone, and I realized no, it would have been way too much work. So each time you use the cell phone or try to use it, it just gives you a message like, I know you cannot use it, and that's not ever going to be added, by the way. At one point you actually encounter Zephaniah Man, the ghost that is on Harvest Event.
Yep.
And if you fight him, he doesn't die, but he gets like angry at you and says that the next time you see him, you're gonna have like the battle of your life or something. And I actually originally wanted you to fight him later on, but then I got too lazy, so he just never appears again.
Okay, I think I kind of literally want to stop you now because you kind of got to the point where you're describing parts of the game and it'll ruin it for other people who actually want to play, including me. I said at the beginning of this, I haven't played this yet, and now I really want to play this. And that very, very much closely nearly is the end of the show. We've asked how we get hold of you, and I've heard a lot of sort of shout outs in that. Is there anyone else you want to call out to? You want to say hi to your mum while you're here?
Well, first of all, shoutouts to Simple Flips, and also shoutouts to Ben Drew, subscribe to Ben Drew. Just all the people that have unknowingly helped me with the game, like translation stuff, and when I ask them like, is this okay, can I say that? And of course Jim Sterling too, because he even got me interested in the game, and Toby Fox for making the game. Definitely all these people that just made the game possible. It was a lot of people, and I'm thankful for all of them.
Sweet. Well, thank you very much for coming in. I appreciate you giving us your time. GermanPeter, thank you very much for coming on the show.
It's been a really big pleasure, and it was amazing. It was really amazing to be on here. I would have never thought that I was going to be on Kritzkast one day.
I'm not sure what you think Kritzkast is, but we're pleased to have you on. Guys, whatever you're doing this evening, please take care, if you've got slippers, to ensure that the underside of them is clean before you walk on freshly hoovered carpet.
Oh yeah, goodbye everyone. Auf Wiedersehen.